Is Mushoku Tensei dead? Yes, but not really. It's definitely a lot less popular than it was in the first season. I noticed at the first season that it kind of spiked around episode 4, around when Paul was being an absolute degenerate. It wasn't really a hyped anime going into the season, but because of how good it was in that episode, I think it was 3 or 4, it just spiked in popularity and then just maintained its ground ever since. And then like the 2-season gap kind of hurt it a bit, but then it reached a really good popularity point, and one I was happy with. One I was like, this is a solid show. I don't think it's gonna go away anytime soon. And then you go to season 2, and nobody's talking about this season at all. It's kind of sad. The only people talking about this season are the fanatics of Mushoku Tensei. You don't really hear many people outside of the isekai realm or whatever talking about Mushoku Tensei now because, well, we're kind of in a slow part of the story. All right, small editor's note here. Yeah, I was wrong. US, it kind of follows this trend, but not so much worldwide. For some reason, worldwide, season 2 is just insanely popular. I have no clue why this is the case. Maybe more dubs came out, maybe localization spread or something. I don't know. I might want to look into this a little bit more, but needless to say, the discussion around Mushoku Tensei is reflective of what I say later in this video. Just stick with me. It sucks. It sucks. Especially as a Sylphie fan, it kind of sucks to admit that your arc is kind of mid compared to a lot of other arcs in Mushoku Tensei. But it's still one of my favorites, again, because of Sylphie. But, when you start getting into waifu debates, and that's all you talk about, that's the sign of your show degrading over time. I feel like if all your community's talking about are just waifu debates, you've gotten lost. You've gotten lost in the sauce. And that is the sign of just mental degradation in the entire community. You are looking for something to talk about. That's honestly what I feel like is happening right now. Because we're in that season gap. We're in that 1 to 2 season gap where nothing's happening. We get a shitty console game that looks like a shitty mobile game, and we're not really excited about any merchandise or anything. No Blu-ray releases that are gonna shake or ground or anything. The anime fans are just in limbo. With waifu debates abundant, justifying if Sylphie is best girl, or justifying if Eris is best girl, or there are those Roxy simps that, we don't talk about them. It's fine, dude. I don't care. I feel like what spiked its popularity too was its controversial nature as well. People kind of hating on it, and then like people outside of the whole Mushoku Tensei sphere are like, oh, people are shitting on this anime. What is it about? And then they look and then it's like, oh, it's pretty good. I feel like some fans got into it a little bit based on how shit of a person Rudy was. Yeah, I mean, like a definite consensus with just average people who watch anime. A lot of my friends who really aren't into too much anime but do watch Mushoku Tensei because, well, I introduced them to it. They're like, yeah, it's a good season. Not as good as the first season, but it's good. I feel like that's the consensus. And unfortunately, we're not at the stage, like you said, we're not at the stage where there's much to talk about. We haven't seen a recent turning point. There's no really major developments in any particular plot line, especially with Paul and their search for Zenith. We haven't really made major developments in that. It was just, season 2 has just been purely character progression for Rudy. Purely that. Not much else. And it's just going from Rudy being a shitty character that you can't get along with to that weird friend who had a phase and I guess I'll stick with him. He's improved. We'll stick with him. You know, that's kind of like the situation Rudy's in right now, and it's a lot better than what he was in season 1. 100%. I'll take that any day. I'll take less horny Rudius and more controlled Rudius any day. But it kind of degrades over time. But we'll get there when we get there. You know. As for the future Mushoku Tensei, the future is what really determines if a show's dead or not, in my opinion. I feel like if the show is gonna get worse or if it's gonna plateau and stay the same, it's gonna die. But thankfully, this upcoming season is probably gonna be one of the best arcs, one of the best parts, one of the best cores of Mushoku Tensei you're probably ever gonna get. 100%. Season 2 Part 2 is gonna be great. Unfortunately, those first few episodes are probably going to be a bit more of the same of the first part. It's not a drastic change. It's probably not a drastic change. But once you get to, if you've seen the trailer, this isn't a spoiler, but once you get to the Ruijerd part and Norn and Aisha join in the fray, you know, it gets a bit better. In my opinion. Correct me if I'm wrong. Once we get to the cliffhanger that season 2 is going to leave us off, it's gonna be, people are gonna be talking about this show a lot. Now, it really depends on how fast this show releases season 3. In my opinion, if I was in control of like the production side of things, I'd release season 3 as fast as possible. No Onimai shit, no side projects. Put all your fucking resources into getting season 3 out in good quality as fast as possible. That's what I would do. Because season 3 is going to be peak Mushoku Tensei. Even if you just put 12 episodes, even if season 3 is just 12 episodes, just do that. Just do that and you're good. You are set. Volumes 13 to 15 of this show, actually not so much 13, volumes 14 to 15 of this show are peak. And season 2 is going to end right at 12. Adapt those as fast as you can. If you want to capitalize off of the cliffhanger that season 2 is gonna get you. I'm confusing the volumes right now. Season 2, volume 12, whatever. The end of season 2. If you want to capitalize off of what the end of season 2 is gonna be, you gotta put out season 3 as fast as possible. In my opinion, I'm pretty sure that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna end off on Turning Point 4, and there you go. That's your cliffhanger right then and there. You know, that's it. You're not gonna go any farther than that, and then the next core releases. That's probably how it's gonna go. Numbers are hard. Fucking true. I don't think the popularity of Mushoku Tensei is ever gonna reach the heights that it had at the beginning of season 1, or even that near the end of season 1. Honestly, even though that we get to a point where the show just changes course, takes a complete 180, or not 180, but complete turn for kind of the better. I don't know. It depends on who you ask. Complete turn and just changes the entire course of the story. Even though it does that, will it gain popularity again? I think it will, but probably not to the same extent as, let's say, like an Attack on Titan. With Attack on Titan, the basement shit that happened at the end of season 3 definitely boosted its popularity. I mean, 100%. I never really was interested in watching Attack on Titan due to the sheer length of it. But then I heard like, oh man, the basement, wait till you get to the basement. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll watch the show before season 4 airs. And it turns out season 4 had its whole freaking schedule, fucking blasphemy, fucking part 1, part 2, final season, part 1, special, part 1, special, part 2, the final chapters. I don't know what the fuck it was doing, but I was there. I was watching it live during that whole shindig because I watched the entire season before then just because of what I heard about the basement, which was great, and I'm glad I watched it. I don't know if that's going to happen with Mushoku Tensei and Turning Point 4. I really don't. It is a coin flip in my opinion. I have no clue if the show's going to gain popularity because of Turning Point 4 to the point where it's reached levels that it's never reached before, or it's just going to stagnate. Same thing goes with the ending of season 2, but because it's the ending of season 2 and we're probably not going to get much content that much later, I don't know. The season 2, the end of season 2 is going to be more like a character thing. It's going to be like a character revelation, and I don't know if that attracts audiences outside of Mushoku Tensei's community that much. I don't know if it attracts new viewers the same way that a complete 180 of the story would, you know? I don't think so. So I think if we're going to try to say that the show's going to gain popularity like insane later, then you probably have to wait till season 3 in all honesty. I'm pretty sure that's going to be the situation. So, anime, is it dead? Yes, for now. I think it will definitely gain some popularity later, but for right now, we are in a dead period. It's probably not going to be this dead till like season 4, maybe. We're in a low point right now, I'd say. This won't last that long. Light novel fans, your series is dead. It's done. It's over. You're not going to get anything better. Redundancy is shit. What, Old Dragon's Tale, it's all right. I mean, it's all right, but like, dude, redundancy, shit. You're not going to get any better than the latest volume that you just got right now. I'm sorry. I read the web novel fan translated version of it, and it was god tier. And man, it never reached that point ever again. And I'm sorry, I don't care if you rewrite the freaking redundancy chapters. I don't care if you delete the most absurd chapter of them all. I don't care. The ones that people actually do care about, one that they actually will keep, I still don't care about. Why? Because Mushoku Tensei doesn't do slice of life that well in the second half of the series. I'm sorry. The second half of the series slice of life is kind of shit. Sorry. It's kind of garbage. It's just more hanging around the mansion. Sorry for those of you who are anime onlys, but Rudius buys a mansion later this upcoming season, and that will stay his home for the rest of the show. And bro, the slice of life that happens around there, once you get past all the turning points, it is, oh my gosh, it is mid as fuck, dude. I can't, man. Oh, and redundancy is just all that. So light novel fans, it's over. Go find a new light novel to read. Go read Overlord. Go read ReZero. Go read A Sentence of a Bookworm or whatever other people like. I don't care. Get out now. You're wasting your time. Web novel fans has been dead for a while, but we've just been riding off the backs of freaking light novel fans and their reactions. So yeah. Anime onlys, you're good. Light novel, nah, get out now. Fuck. And web novels, we're diehard fans. We're not leaving. So yeah, that's how it is.